Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Janmadyasya Yatonvayaditaratascha Artheshu Abhigyaswarat Tene Brahmahridaya Adikavaye Muhyanti Yatsuraya Tejo Vari Mridam Yathavinimayo Yatra Trisargomrisha Dhamna Swena Sada Nirastakuhakam Satyam Param Dhimahi Nigamakalpataror Galitam Phalam Shukamukad Amrita Drava Sanyutam Pibata Bhagavatam Rasamalayam Muhuraho Rasika Bhuvi Bhavukaha. So we now enter the 8th chapter of the 10th Skandha of Srimad Bhagavatam. Now, Shuka Brahma Rishi continues. He says that one day, as the boys, Krishna and Balaram, are still little babies actually, they are few months old, and one day the great sage called Garga, he comes to Gokul being sent by Vasudeva. Garga is the family priest of the Yadus, and so Vasudeva sends him to Nanda's Gokula saying that my boys are there, and so you please go them and do whatever purificatory rites are necessary for them. So as soon as Garga comes, Nanda sees him. He gets up immediately from his seat with joined palms. With Namaskar Mudra, he welcomes him, immediately falls at his feet, offering his obeisances, falls prostrate, and offers him his respect. So, this is the way to greet a great sage or elders, to get up immediately and offer them pranams and fall at their feet. So, this is how Nanda welcomes Garga, and then he gives him hospitality. He gives him water, he gives him refreshments, and then seats him, and then he says, "O great holy sage, what can we do for you? Because you are fully gratified, you don't want anything." So this is the quality of sages. They don't want anything. So he says, "What can I do for you even though you don't want anything?" And then he says a beautiful verse. He says, "Exalted beings like you move about only to do good for others. For people like me who are caught in household, you don't move for any personal desire of yours. Your movement is only out of compassion." He says, "Mahad vichalanam nrinam grihinam dinachetasam nishreyasaya bhagavan kalpate na anyata kvachit." You have no other motive for your activities other than compassion, other than love, which is called paropakar. So, this is the highest state of life where one's actions are only for the welfare of others. If we engage in contemplating about our own desires, including and up to the desire for liberation, we are still caught in the ego. When one transcends all desires, including liberation, and recognizes that everything is the expression of Bhagavan's energy, there is nothing other than the Supreme Being, then all activities are only out of compassion, because there is no difference to be seen, there is no goal to be attained. Everything is the expression of the same one Supreme Being, and in everyone's heart is the presence of the same Supreme Being, and therefore all activities are out of this compassion and love, which is called paropakar. So this is the highest state of being. And so Nanda says, you are like this, your activities are only for supreme good for people like me. You have no personal desire of your own. And also he points out that you have written the greatest treatise on astrology, on Jyotisha, which clearly delineates karma, cause and effect. The Jyotisha Shastra, the astrology of the Vedic system, is a very intricate science. It goes into very specific details. There are 12 different charts drawn, and it's very specific. It marks the exact date of birth, time of birth, place of birth, and based on all that, different charts are made. And so therefore there is great precision in Vedic astrology, and this is part of the Shadangas. There are 6 angas of Vedas. One of them is Jyotisha, and it is a very precise science, and it has a lot of intricate charts and so on. And so Garga is a famous exponent on astrology. So Nanda glorifies him, says, "You have composed the greatest treatise on astrology. The other sage who did astrological treatise is Parashara, who is the father of Vyasa or the grandfather of Shuka Brahman. But here Garga is also glorified as the author of a treatise on astrology. And you are also, he says, you are also a foremost knower of Vedas. You know that you are a self-realized being, and therefore he says it's most appropriate if you do the purificatory rites for our boys, even though they are a few months old, and normally it is done right away, but because they haven't done properly, especially with the sage, so he says, can you also please do this? He says, Tvam hi Brahmavidam Shreshtaha Samskaran Kartumarhasi Balayor Anayor Nrinam Janmana Brahmano Guruhu, because you are the guru of the Yadus and you are the proper priest and you are such a elevated soul. He says, Twamhi Brahmavidam, you have realized Brahman, and because of all this, the proper samskaras, the purificatory rites, ought to be done by you. So Garga replies, he says, as you know, I am the family priest of the Yadus, of Vasudeva and the whole family there. And therefore, if I do the purificatory rites, then there will be a suspicion that this is the son of Devaki. So here it's very interesting. Vasudeva has sent Garga to Gokula because it is his son that is in Gokula. It is his two sons, Balaram and Krishna. Nanda does not know about Krishna being Vasudeva's son, because it all happened when Nanda and Yashoda were all in Yoga Nidra, as we saw, and Vasudeva did not reveal it to him when he met with Nanda in Mathura. So, as far as Nanda and Yashoda are concerned, Krishna is their son. They only see Vasudeva as a dear friend. And so Garga says, without revealing the secret, he says simply that you know that Kamsa is looking for killing various infants born, and especially he is searching for Devaki's son, Vasudeva and Devaki's son. And they are already aware of it because already Putana came, we saw, and she was killed by Krishna. Trinavrita came. Before that, Shakatasura came in the cart. So all these demons have been killed by Krishna, who all came looking for infants. So Nanda is also aware that Kamsa is looking for killing newborn babies, male children. So Garga just says that. He says Nanda should be careful here, because Garga tells Nanda, if I do the purificatory rites, then Kamsa will think that this is perhaps Devaki's son. In fact, it is Devaki's son, but Garga just says it as a hint without actually revealing. He says Kamsa might think this is the eighth progeny of Devaki, because, as you may know, there was a daughter born to Devaki, and she prophesied that the son is born and he is elsewhere, and therefore Kamsa is looking for it. And so Kamsa will have suspicion. He also knows that you and Vasudeva are good friends, and if I do the purificatory rites for your son, then Kamsa might suspect that this is actually Vasudeva's son. So it's very interesting the way Garga says it. He says it without actually saying that it is indeed Vasudeva's son, but he just says that this is the suspicion Kamsa might have. And therefore, Nanda says, it is true what you are saying, but it is very important that a great sage like you do the purificatory rites. So we will not make it a big function. We will just simply do it in a very quiet way in my own backyard in the cow pen. So there are always cows in the backyard, and there is always a cow shed or a cow pen in the backyard of all these houses, and especially Nanda, with the palatial house being the head of the community there. He has a lot of cows. So he says, we will just do it in the backyard among the cows. So Garga is happy to do so. So being asked by Nanda, the sage Garga then performs the naming ceremony in secret. So this is the official naming. So even though the boys are a few months old, normally the name is given very soon, within a few days. But in this case, the official naming ceremony hasn't happened, because they were waiting for a great sage like Garga to come. And now that he has come, so Garga does it. So it is done very quietly, even though this is normally a big celebration. because of Garga's presence, because Garga is associated intimately with Vasudeva, as Garga himself warned, they didn't want to make it a show. So it's done in a very sacred place, though, because doing among the cows has got the most positive energy. The cows are embodiments of the divine, and therefore, among the cows in the cow pen, this naming ceremony happens. So Garga says first he names Balaram. He looks at the boy and he says, this boy is the son of Rohini and he has got many excellences and he'll delight a lot of people, and therefore he is Rama. And he's going to be a person of great strength, immense physical strength, and therefore he's going to be called Bala. So together he becomes Balarama. And also because he is someone who links the families of Yadus with you. See, because he is the first son, that is, he's the seventh son of Vasudeva, but he's the first son who linked Vasudeva with Gokula, because he was transferred from the womb of Devaki to Rohini, who lives in Gokula. Because he links, he will be called Sankarshana. And interestingly, as we may remember, these three names were given by Bhagavan himself to Yogamaya before he descended. And those exact three names is what Garga says as ordained. So he says he'll be Rama, Bala, and Sankarshana. So he's Balaram and Sankarshana. So he says, I am hi Rohini Putro, Ramayan Sukrudo Gunaihi, Akyayaste Rama iti, Baladi Kyad Balam Viduhu. Yadunam Apritag Bhavad Sankarshanam Ushantyuta. So he is called Sankarshana Bala Rama. Then he moves on to Krishna. He says, this boy, again, he has to name Krishna without revealing that Krishna is Swayam Narayana, and yet give hints. So it's very beautiful, the way he talks about Krishna here, Garga. He says, this boy has taken many incarnations in many yugas, many eras, and he takes different complexions in each time. Now he has come in this dark complexion, and the dark complexion is indeed called Krishna. One of the meanings of the word Krishna is black. So he says, Shukla Raktas Tatapita Idanim Krishnatam Gataha. So right now he has appeared in black complexion, dark bluish black complexion. So that is why he is Krishna. Then he says, sometime in the past he was born in the house of Vasudeva, and therefore he shall be called Vasudeva. It's very interesting. He doesn't say exactly when. Again, all of this is very hinting without revealing. So this could be taken by Nanda to mean that he was perhaps born to Vasudeva in a previous birth of Vasudeva, or in this birth and he died as a young boy. He can take any meaning, and he doesn't reveal. All he says is he was born to Vasudeva in the past, and therefore he shall be called Vasudeva. He says, Prag ayam Vasudevasya kvachit jata tava atmajaha Vasudeva iti Sriman Abhignya Samprakshate. So he'll be called Vasudeva because he was born to Vasudeva at some point. And then he says there are many names, many forms for this boy. Bahuni santi namani rupani cha sutasyate. He's got so many names, so many forms. He'll delight all the cowherds. He'll delight entire Gokul. He'll bring you great happiness. He will help you surmount all difficulties. He will conquer all tormentors or evildoers. He will help pious souls. So he is basically giving a beautiful description of Bhagavan's avatar, where it is said, Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. To protect the saintly beings, to destroy the wicked, and to establish dharma, he appears again and again. So this is what Garga says very beautifully without actually revealing explicitly. He says he will protect the saintly beings, he will protect the pious souls, he will conquer anyone who torments the pious souls. Nobody can overpower him, just as no demon can overpower Vishnu. Again, it's very subtle. He doesn't say that he is Vishnu, but he says just as Vishnu cannot be overpowered by demons, this boy cannot be overpowered by anyone. And therefore, he concludes nicely that he is just like Narayana. He doesn't say he is Narayana, which is the truth, but he simply hints to it by saying, Tasmad Nanda Atmajo Ayamte Narayana Samo Gunaihi. He is like Narayana, Narayana Sama. Which can also be seen as same as Narayana. Sama means same. In fact, as the English word same itself is derived from Sama. So Narayana Sama means same as Narayana, but it can also be interpreted as like Narayana. So in this way, he hints and says that this boy is such a special boy. So he shall be called Krishna Vasudeva, and he is same as, or he is like Narayana, but indeed same as Narayana. And therefore, he also says that he'll have many names. So that's why Krishna will go on to have so many names due to his various pastimes, such as Gopala, Govinda, Muralidhara, Govardhanadhari. So many names. Krishna's names are endless. And so Garga hints at a few names and just says that you take care of this boy because he is special, and gives him a hint that this is something that is not ordinary human, without revealing the truth of the essence of Bhagavan as Krishna. So Nanda, being a very innocent cowherd man, he is full of reverence to Garga. He accepts him at face value. He is very happy that this boy is so special. He already knows this. They are naturally attracted to Krishna, not as any normal parents are attracted to their kids, which is always very natural and biological, but even beyond that, all the community, the entire Gopas and Gopis, that is the cowherd men and women, are all drawn to Krishna like magnet, and they are all taking turns in playing with Krishna, in feeding Krishna, and so on. So they know that this is no ordinary boy, but beyond that, they don't know about the mysterious truth of Krishna. And when Garga says this, they take it at face value and they are happy, and then Garga goes back to Mathura. Then after that begins the beautiful Bala Leela, that is the childish pranks of Krishna along with Balaram. It is described so sweetly by Shuka Brahmarshi. He says, first they start crawling. Kalena Vrajatalpena Gokule Rama Keshavau Janubhyam Saha Panibhyam Ringamano Vijahrutuhu. Rama Keshava, such a beautiful expression. Rama is Balarama, Keshava is Krishna. So Rama Keshava means Rama and Balarama and Krishna. So Balarama and Krishna start sporting on Janubhyam Panibhyam, on their knees and hands. That is, they are crawling. They are crawling on all four on the muddy grounds of Vraja in the most charming way. They've got anklets, and the anklets are making a tinkling noise, and they are themselves delighted to hear this sound. And so they make this sound, and then they look back, they look at the sound, they smile, and then they crawl again, they smile at the sound, and they have fun like this. And then anyone who is coming outside the house and going by as a passerby, they immediately follow them. They just crawl fast to follow them for a little bit, and then the passerby turns around to look at them, and then they immediately get afraid and then crawl back to their parents. So it is so sweetly described here that how we can imagine little playful babies, toddlers behaving. That is what Krishna and Balaram are displaying as Leela so beautifully. They are just outside the house. There are random passers by. As soon as someone passes the house, of course, everybody is enamored by looking at Krishna and Balaram. So as they pass by, these babies start crawling behind them very fast. The sound is very beautifully tinkling. The bells are tinkling from their anklets. And then when they turn around, they act as if they are afraid because these are strangers. And then they crawl right back to their mothers. And they are full of mud when they come back, and the mothers Yashoda and Rohini are so happy to see them. The mud is acting like a paint on their body. They immediately pick them up and they put them on their lap, and it is said that they are always overflowing with milk out of their love and affection, and therefore with great joy they put them on their lap and they feed them with their breast milk. and then slowly the boys become old enough to engage in boyish sports. So they are now able to move with ease, they are able to walk, that is, they have learned walking, and they are not anymore crawling on their knees, and they are walking. And now, after they start walking, it is said that all the young women are also delighted because they are walking here and there. And the first thing they start doing is they find these little calves, and they hold the tails of the calves and they hold them tightly. So the calves start running. So the immediate response is, because the calves are being pulled from the back by Krishna and Balaram, by pulling their tails, they start running. But the boys hold the tails so tightly they don't let it go. So they are dragged by the calves, and they are running behind the calves as if they are being dragged by the calves, and they go on like this, and then after some time they let go of the calves. So seeing all this beautiful mischief, all the young women of Vraja are all finding it so adorable, and even the mothers, they are not able to restrain the boys. The boys are so mischievous, especially Krishna and Balaram too. They are so mischievous. As said, they are running behind calves, they are going and playing with animals, they are touching swords that are lying there, they are playing with birds, they are picking up thorns on the ground, and they are going near fire. So they are just creating a lot of mischief. And it is said that the mothers, both Rohini and Yashoda, are unable to restrain them, and they are so distracted from their domestic duties. But this is a source of great joy for them to be distracted from their domestic duties because of the adorable pranks of Krishna and Balaram. So this is why Krishna is always said as someone, we already saw Garga also say this, that he increases the joy of the cowherd men and women, and especially Yashoda. And he is Yashoda Nandana. He increases the joy of Yashoda every moment through his pranks, and he increases the joy of everyone who listens to these. Just listening to this, we can envision the scene of this beautiful bluish black boy with the most adorable features, and with acting like he is terrified, and with his eyes so expressive as if crying, and suddenly running and then doing mischiefs, all of this. And then as he starts being able to walk and run, it is said that they started playing with other boys of their own age, and this brought delight to other women as well, because they would go to different houses and there are boys of their age, and their mothers are also very happy to see Krishna and Balaram come and play with their boys. And they will all look at the boyish pranks of Krishna and they are all very happy. But then they also have complaints, because what Krishna and Balaram do is so mischievous. So what they will do, the cowherd women come and complain to Yashoda. So what they do is, first thing they do, they untether the calves in their houses. So in every house, because they are a farming community, there are many cows and calves, and normally the calf is kept next to the cow, but it is kept on a tether, because the calf otherwise would drink all the milk of the cow. So the way it is always done is, the calf is never deprived of the milk. The calf is given milk first, so that he or she, the calf has taken the milk, and then the cow is kept away from the calf so that the remaining milk can be taken. But if the calf is let go prematurely, then the calf will drink all the milk, which is actually not good for the calf even to drink so much milk. But that's normally how it's done. But here, just to do mischief, what they would do is they would silently enter the backyard, and they would just untether the calves when they are not watching. So the calves would go and drink all the milk. So when they come to milk the cows, there is no milk left. So this is the first thing. And then because of that, the mother or the father, that is the man or the woman of the house, will scold them, and then they will get very angry, so they will run away, and then they will find out ways to steal the butter and the curds in their house. So they will run away, and then they will come back silently. They will know exactly in which, because in each house they have a friend. So the boy in the house is also their part of this party of stealing butter. So they will join. So they will enter the house. They know exactly which room has the butter. It is normally kept on top on a swing, hanging from the ceiling. So they will go enter the house and they will silently steal the milk or the curds or the yogurt or the butter that is stored on the pots hanging from the swings on the ceiling. And not only that, they will eat as much as they can and they will feed monkeys. Monkeys will enter and they will feed the monkeys too. And after they finish eating and finish feeding the monkeys, if anything is left, they will simply smash the jar and they will go away. And not only that, if there is any little infant there in the house, they will silently go and pinch that infant. So the infant will start crying and they will run away. So all these mischiefs are so beautiful to envision and very relatable, and how Krishna engages in the most sweetest and most relatable mischiefs. Everything is narrated by Shuka Brahma Rishi so beautifully. And sometimes he says when the milk or butter is hanging beyond their reach, they will then contrive plans to reach it. So they put wooden seats and then mortars on top, or they arrange pots on top of each other. And then if it is very dark, that place, then they will carry a lamp, or sometimes if they cannot carry a lamp, they will wear very bright gems. And because these gems will light up the room, using the light of the gems, they will see in the room what is placed where, and then they will reach. And sometimes if they are not able to reach the pot that is up on the ceiling, lying hanging from the ceiling, their first preference is they will assemble seats and mortars one on top of each other, climb and reach it. Normally, it is Krishna who does the climbing. So they arrange everything. Krishna climbs, he sits there, and that is why even during Krishna Janmashtami today, it is beautifully celebrated where people climb on top of each other and break a pot. So here, Krishna himself does that. So he will climb on top of this pots and wooden seats and mortars to reach the pot that is hanging from the ceiling, which has got the yogurt or the butter, and eat it and distribute it to his friends and monkeys. If they are not able to reach it, they will then figure out a way to make a hole. They will hit it with a stone or with something from below, so that it makes a hole and the milk starts pouring out, and they will just drink the milk or eat the butter. And if the room is dark, they will light it up, as we said, with the gems and all that. So the women are coming and complaining to Yashoda. They are saying all this is being done by Krishna and Balaram and this whole party. They come, they mess up everything. Our cows are not having milk because they let the calves drink the milk. Our house is not having any butter because all the butter is eaten by them. And they are smashing the pots after they eat. They are creating a real ruckus. And now look at him. So Krishna is right there. When they come to the house to complain to Yashoda, Krishna is having this very innocent face as if he has done nothing. And he's looking like, I haven't done anything. And yet they are saying, look at him. He is acting here like an innocent boy, but he has done everything. Yashoda looks at him and Krishna says, no, mother, I didn't do any of this. And so she is not even feeling like rebuking him. She just smiles at him, smiles at the women, and the women are also only complaining, as it were, but they are actually happy. They want Krishna to come, they want him to steal the butter, they want him to do all these pranks, and they want to complain because it increases their joy as well. That is why Krishna is also called Gopi Jana Vallabha. He increases the joy of all the gopis in this way. So Gopi Jana Vallabha, Girivaradhari is a song on Krishna. So he increases the joy of gopis in this way by stealing butter first and then claiming that I didn't steal butter, acting like he's innocent, terrified, and Yashoda is just unable to resist the charm of Krishna's sweetness and his facial expressions, and so with the women who are coming to complain. So they just come to complain in order to see Krishna, and they want him to come back and do it again. So this whole episode is indeed made as a beautiful, famous bhajan by Surdas, where it says, Manahi Makhan Kayo. He says, I didn't eat the butter. That is what the refrain of the song is. So Yashoda asks, why did you eat the butter? Why are you stealing? And Krishna says, no, I didn't eat the butter. And that's the whole refrain of the song, Manahi Makhan Kayo. And there is an esoteric meaning to all this. Every episode of Krishna is beautiful and charming literally, and there is also an esoteric symbolic meaning, because the butter represents the pure spirit that is sitting within the cave of the heart. So, the dark room in which butter is kept symbolizes the cave of the heart, in which is the pure supreme being, the heart. And Krishna goes and steals that heart, which is to say, he takes that which is the essence of the heart, which is the butter, which is the pure awareness. So that is why he's called Navanita Chora. Navanita means butter again. And there are many works, in fact, that call this pure awareness also as butter. There is a work called Kaivalya Navanitam, means the butter of pure liberation or pure awareness, because butter is the essence of milk. And similarly, the essence of life itself is awareness. And therefore, stealing butter is non different from recognizing or realizing the awareness in the cave of the heart. So, that is the esoteric meaning. So, then another episode is related by Shuka Brahma Rishi, which is also very famous. One day, it is said that all the cowherd boys are all playing, Krishna, Balaram, and all the boys, and Krishna has eaten some dirt. So, after Krishna eats dirt, they take Krishna to Yashoda and say, "Oh mother, see, he has eaten dirt." And so Yashoda is chiding him, she is chastising him. "Oh Krishna, why did you eat earth? This is not right. Why are you eating dirt? The boys are all complaining. Your own brother Balaram is complaining that you are eating dirt." Again, Krishna says beautifully, "No mother, I didn't eat dirt. You please check it out." He says, it's a famous verse. He says, "Naham bhakshitavanamba sarve mityabhishamsinaha." He says, everybody is lying. So everyone is, he uses a very beautiful word. He says, Sarve mithyabhishamsinaha. It's all an illusion what they are saying. And that's a very appropriate word, because in reality, everything is an illusion. And therefore, what Krishna says is indeed perfect. But he says it in the way that I didn't eat the dirt. They are just lying. Then he says, Yadi satyagiras tarihi samaksham pashyame mukham. He says, if you think what they are saying is true, then look into my mouth. I don't have any dirt in my mouth. So she says, okay, open your mouth, show me. So he opens the mouth, and she looks into his mouth. And just as we may remember when Krishna opened his mouth and for a split second he gave the vision of the cosmic form, here that exact thing happens. He opens the mouth, asking Yashoda to check. See, I haven't eaten any dirt. Check my mouth. She looks into the mouth, and lo and behold, she sees the entire universe in his mouth. She sees the whole universe with all the quarters, the mountains, the rivers, all the five elements, the sun, the moon, the stars, all living entities who are made of different karmas, different gunas, all of that. And what's more interesting, she sees in that Vrija, Gokula, and in that she sees Yashoda, who is actually looking into Krishna's mouth. So it is such a beautiful recursive vision. Inside the mouth of Krishna, she sees Yashoda seeing inside the mouth of Krishna. And so when she sees this, she is completely flabbergasted. She doesn't know, she is caught in dismay, in wonder, and she says, what is this? Is it a dream? Is it an illusion? Is it some kind of delusion of my mind? She says, Kim swapna etad uta deva maya kim va madiyo bata buddhi moha. Has my mind gone crazy? Or is this some illusion? What is this? And then she says immediately that this is why one cannot understand the truth. She thinks this is all the Maya of Bhagavan. She doesn't even consider that is Krishna himself. All she knows is she has this tremendous sense of faith and love for the Supreme Being. So she says that the ground of the universe is the Supreme Being, Brahman, and he is most difficult to comprehend. He cannot be grasped by the intellect, by the mind, by actions or words. He is the ground of the whole universe. He presides over everything, and it is by his Maya that everything is being generated. And so that is what is making all this possible. And we cannot understand why I am seeing this. And it is this Maya that makes me think also that I am Yashoda, I am the wife of Nanda, Krishna is my son, I am having all this cattle wealth. All of this is only an illusion. In reality, all there is only the Supreme Being. So, how beautifully, in that one instant, Yashoda was given the glimpse of the highest truth without doing any sadhana, without doing any spiritual practice, just because of our love for Krishna and the grace she was bestowed upon by Krishna by first revealing the cosmic form, and then instantly flashes in her the highest realization, and she expresses it beautifully. She says that the ground of the universe is the Supreme Being, and the idea I have of me and mine, that I am Yashoda, wife of Nanda, I am the mother of Krishna, I have wealth, this mine and me are all only an illusion. All there is only the Supreme Being. He alone is the ground of the universe. Everything is only his expression, and he can do anything. So, in this way, she recognizes it as a flash in 1 second. And after having realized the truth, it is said that Krishna again, through his divine charm, brings her back to being a mother. So, this is the beauty of this whole pastime. It says here, Ittam vidita tattvayam gopikayam sa ishvaraha vaishnavim pyatanonmayam putra snehamayim vibhuhu. So, Ittam vidita tatvatayam gopikayam. This is Gopika, that is, Yashoda is also a Gopika. She is a cowherd woman. So this cowherd woman understood the highest truth. Vidita tattvayam. So the tattva, the supreme truth, was realized by her in that instant. But the supreme being Ishvara, he again put his Maya. It's called Vaishnavim Maya. That is the Vishnu Maya or Yoga Maya, by which he made her Putra Sneha Mayim Vibhuhu. Again, she got back the pure maternal affection for Krishna. So that is the beauty of this pastime, is when one is completely in love of Krishna, then truth realization happens effortlessly. And then after that, one also continues to engage in the same loving relationship with Krishna, and the truth is always effortlessly present in the background. So, in this way, she is now again filled with love for Krishna. She has actually forgotten the vision she had. Every time she gets a vision like this, it's only there for a flash, and then it goes away, and Krishna again brings her back into the Vaishnava Vishnu Maya, Vaishnavi Maya. So this is what is called Yoga Maya. There is two types of Maya, as also already mentioned in Bhagavatam many times, that there is Mahamaya and Yoga Maya. Mahamaya is what bewilders, causes false attachment, and therefore greed and anger and envy and comparison. Yoga Maya is the what is called here as Vaishnavi Maya, which is the pure attraction to the Supreme Being in the mood of love. So this is also Maya, but this is Yoga Maya, divine Maya, that is conducive for realization of the truth. So Yashoda is put in this divine Maya so that she is again full of maternal affection. She picks Krishna up and she is full of joy, and she regards Hari, the Supreme Being, again as her own son. So the one who said, it is an illusion to think of me as Yashoda or Krishna as my son, is now filled again with Vatsalya, that is supreme maternal love for Krishna as her son. So it is said here that the one who is glorified by all the Upanishads, all the Vedas, all yoga, all Sankhya, all philosophies, all scriptures, was considered by her as her own son. And this is exactly what Parikshit asks now. Parikshit says, what is the fortune of Yashoda and Nanda? He is just so happy to listen to this, and he asks a beautiful question. He says, Nanda kimakarot brahman shreya eva mahodayam Yashoda cha mahabhaga papav yasya stanam harim. What fortune, what merit, what austerities did Nanda and Yashoda do that they were blessed with such intimacy to Krishna? He says even Vasudeva and Devaki, the mother and father, the biological mother and father as it were, they could not even behold all these charming sports of Krishna, the pastimes of Krishna. And here there is Yashoda who is able to hold Krishna, feed him with her breasts, see into his mouth, and get the divine universal vision, and chastise him, punish him, play with him, smile at him, engage with him in every possible way with motherly love. And so Parikshit is asking, what fortune did Yashoda do to consider Krishna as her own son in this way? It is such a beautiful question, and this very question has been made into a great song in Tamil as a kirtan. There is a song that says, Enna tavam seidanai Yashoda engum nirainda parabrahmam amma endrunai alaika. The song goes, what austerities did you do, Yashoda, that the all-pervading Brahman is calling you Amma, calling you as mother? So that is exactly what Parikshit's question has been made into this song. Parikshit is asking, what did Yashoda do? How is this that such fortune for Yashoda that Krishna is her son and she is having such intimacy as a mother with Krishna? Such a beautiful question with love that Parikshit is asking, adoring Yashoda here. And so Shuka Brahma Rishi answers by saying, indeed, Yashoda and Nanda are divine beings called Drona and Dhara. And Drona and Dhara, who were born on earth according to the boon they got from Brahma, that they shall be the parents of Krishna, and they shall be with complete love surrendered to Krishna. And because of this benediction, indeed, they were born, and they are having this great fortune of having Bhagavan as their son. Answering Parikshit's question, Shuka Brahma Rishi concludes this chapter by saying, thereby Krishna and Balaram was engaged in such beautiful pastimes which brought delight to everyone in Vrindavan, in Gokul. He says, Krishno Brahmana Adesham Satyam Kartum Vraje Vibhuhu Saharamo Vasamschakre Tesham Pritim Swalilaya. Swalilaya, by his Leela, by his pastimes, Saharamo, along with Rama, that is, along with Balarama, Krishna, along with Balarama, through his pastimes, brought such delight to the inhabitants of Vraja, of Gokula, with all his infantile, boyish pastimes, which we have seen in this chapter. And we shall see more and more of such sweet nectarian pastimes of Krishna in Gokul. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.